Everybody, and welcome to Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Today is Wednesday, the 27th of December, and I hope you guys had an incredible holiday, and I hope you guys are enjoying your morning today. A little chilly, but hey, it's holidays, and I hope you had a great Christmas. We certainly did, and we got a great show lined up for you guys today. For the first time ever, I'm having my sister, that's right, my sister Tanya Carrara on the show, and she's going to be on very shortly. So it's going to have some fun of an hour of half hour of excitement and fun. Get some stories, and it's great to have my sister on. Guys, check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com, and give us a call at 847-769-8609 to book a show. Very, very important. Now, we got a busy week coming up, folks. Now, let's start off with tonight. We're making our debut at a very brand new place called The Matrix in Naperville, Illinois. It's going to be my good friend Double T, Tony Toto, Jerry Jams, and the incredible Lisa P. It's going to be a great show starting between 7 and 7:30 tonight. Tomorrow is my big 61 birthday bash at the Fox Run Golf Links in Elk Grove Village. First come, first serves. Reservations are not accepted. So get there. They got regular bar food there. It's going to be a lot of fun with a lot of special guests. Of course, we got the main event band. We got Mojo's Jukebox. We got Ocean's Rat Pack, Regina Karma, Nicholas Hodges, Matt Cassane, Ronnie B. Elvis, Jim Cunningham from the Rob Post Band in Off-Broadway. My sister Tanya will be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, John Vincent will be joining us and more great guests. Now, that show's going to start at 7 o'clock till about 10:30, so I hope you guys get there early to grab a seat. Friday will be at Chicago Prime Steakhouse in Schaumburg. That's an 8 o'clock hit with Double T. Saturday ending up at Norton's in Highland Park. That's an 8:30 hit with Jerry Jams Renda. And for New Year's Eve, folks, the first time we've been out of town for a long time will be in beautiful Munster, Indiana. That's right, Munster, Indiana at the beautiful Performing Arts Center. That is a sold-out show with Ocean's Rat Pack. So that's a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff. Let's get right to the nitty-gritty. Now, remember, folks, every show is dedicated to the first responders, but mostly it's dedicated to people like you who take the time and watch the show. Whether you're watching on a lunchtime fun or later on in the day, whatever it is, you're watching us on 5 different social media outlets. You're on the Tony Ocean Show Facebook page. We're on the Mo Carrara Facebook page. We're on the Ocean's Pit Facebook page. We are on LinkedIn. We are on YouTube. We are also on X, formerly Twitter. All 5 live at the same time. So it's great. Let's get right to our sponsors, folks. We can't do anything without our sponsors, folks. So let's get right to the biggies. That's right. We're talking about Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local. Norwich, Des Plaines, Evergreen Park, Warrenville, and the brand new one in Mesa, Arizona. You got to take care of their great deals they got, folks. Small engine repair, free pickup and delivery, $35 savings. Customers can bring their snowblower into the store or call for a scheduled pickup. This is for the whole entire month of December. Free assembly and delivery on all grill purchases. That's $399 and up. And shop at acehardware.com. In-store pickup will be ready in 15 minutes. That's Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local. And remember, Ace has been helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Our good friends from Ace Hardware. Now, folks, let's not all forget public relations. We all need them. Everybody needs them. Whether you got a company, whether you're an entertainer, whatever you want to get out in the public and let people know what you're about. We're talking about Bernie DeMayo, folks. And as Bill Gates once said, even though I'm not a Bill Gates fan, but even what he once said, if he was down to his last marketing dollar, he'd spend it on public relations. That's still great advice from a man who's worth $100 billion. Because I don't like his political things, but still, he's $100 billion. So that's what he does. That's why I use my good friend Bernie DeMayo at DeMayo Partners. They're creative, experienced, and very smart. Very well. They've been in business for long years. They've had clients like the Phil Stefani Group, Popeye's Chicken, Michael Jordan and Chicago Bulls. Let's not forget the Chicago White Sox. They've been my publicist for many years. So Bernie can take care of you. Go to BernieDeMayo.com at 312-217-5658. That's 312-217-5658 and tell them Tony O sent ya. That's Bernie DeMayo's. Let's not forget my good friend Mary Grievous. That's right, folks. If you're in the market to buy or sell, that's it. Buying or selling in the Chicagoland area, Mary Grievous, the perfect real estate professional, whether you're putting your home on the market or looking for your dream home. Give her a call today. She can also assist buyers and sellers for sale by owners, expired listings. Berkshire Hathaway Stark Real Estate. Go to M. Grievous at starkre.com, or better yet, give Mary a call at 630-688-1725 and tell her Tony O sent you. And folks, even though the holidays are almost over, why not check out the great Sunny Acres Farms, folks? Great place, good friends of ours. Sunny Acres, 29 West 310 North Avenue, West Chicago, Illinois, 60185. That's 630-231-3859. Come celebrate the holidays, a big bright trail of lights at Sunny Acres Farm, where there'll be millions of dazzling lights, sparkling walking trail with fun stops along the way, while we're featuring larger-than-life holiday displays set to your favorite holiday tunes. Check out the website to reserve your tickets at time slots at sunnyacres.com. That's Sunny with an O. Give them a call at 630-231-3859. That's Sunny Acres in beautiful West Chicago, where you don't need to go to the city to watch some great holiday attire and a lot of fun, folks. All right, we got a great show lined up for you. My sister will be joining us, Tanya Carrera, for the very first time. Tomorrow, my co-host, of course, the lovely Laura Ocean, is back. So let's see who's watching this afternoon in this beautiful day. Richard Hamlin is in the house. We got public relations. Vote Trump. There you go. Thank you, Dennis. Speaking of, I'll be back. I'll be back. That's right. Anyway, publicly, Blake Geneva's in the house. Stella, Kathy, how you doing, honey? Nashville's in the house. Santa Barbara, California's in the house. Ohio. Let's say hello to Nashville. Let's say hello. See you tonight. Double T, Tony Toto. Hello, Kathy. Dennis, hope you guys. Ryan Lewis, Lilia, how are you guys? Oh, some great new names coming up. Great seeing some of our old friends as well. Mary's watching. Ronnie B. Elvis will be joining us tomorrow, folks. And let's not forget my good friend Danny Mazzi. Buy local, shop local from our friends from Armando Supermarkets. And Mike and Gigi from Crash Champions Collision Auto Repair. For all your collision auto repair needs, go to crashchampions.com. We got a busy stuff happening, folks, and busy week, nonstop. I can't really... I can't believe the holidays are almost over. And Christmas was very different this year, even though we had the whole family there and we enjoyed drinks and laughter and games on both days. But it's different without a loved one. And of course, it definitely lost without Mama D. But it was nice to know, I'm sure she was very happy that we were still keeping the family together. And that's what's very important, keeping the family together. And we got my guest coming on, speaking of family, in just a couple more minutes. My sister, of course, and my only sibling, my sister Tanya Carrera. So, Gina, how you doing? Ryan, Mary Margaret, welcome. Kevin Burke, California's in the house. Johnny B. Davy. Erica, yes, you're waiting. It's going to be good. And guys, what do we got? A week and a half left for Chicago Music Cruise 2024, which is sold out, by the way. 5,000 people. It's going to be fantastic. Woo! The Royal Caribbean's Wonders of the Sea. It's 4 football fields long. It leaves January 7th through January 14th. Florida, Orlando, Coco Key, Bahamas, Puerto Rico, and St. Martin. Tony Ocean and the main event band, Jerry Jams, Double T, Tony Toto, and Danny Raimondi. My brand new band, Mojo's Jukebox, which you're going to see tomorrow at the party for like a little pre-sample of my new rock band. And then, of course, the ringleaders themselves. The way this whole thing comes about is with Richie and the boys from Seventh Heaven. If you want any last-minute questions answered, go to Mary at ntdvacations.com, and she will answer all your questions. I know you can't wait. Rosa, will you be doing the pit from the cruise? Yes. Pina, how you doing? Now, let me give you guys a real quick what's going on with the cruise real fast. We will be doing Ocean's Pit only 2 days for that week on the Monday and the Wednesday. Okay, so just let you know, and it'll be on the ship with my co-host, my lovely wife, Laura Ocean. We're performing on the Monday, folks, in the music hall from 8 to 9, the Tony Ocean Band, and then 9 to 10, Mojo's Jukebox. Same stage, same fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's at the music hall on the Monday and the Wednesday as well. Okay, I think Seventh Heaven is on the Sunday and the Friday. So you guys can enjoy the show because each night the show is going to be different. That I promise you, at least with Mojo's. 2 different sets, 2 different shows. So we're going to have a lot of fun. I can't wait. Yeah, Mel Lennon Reed, Seventh Heaven is fantastic. And I know you got a baby coming, so congratulations soon when that baby comes. Good for you. Don't forget Mary. She's the best. Yeah, she's part of that whole ringleader group. A great Mary Griefiths, a great friend who's helped us all along the way, and we're glad that we met her. We're going to be some great friends. We'll be doing, so that's your answer there. It's going to be fun. All right, so just make sure you get all that stuff and your information taken care of before you take off, okay? The last 2 shows we're doing in Illinois for January will be January 4th, the Thursday night at Zaza's in Lake Barrington, and January 5th, the Friday at Chicago Prime, and then we're leaving on the Saturday, and the cruise leaves on the Sunday. So that's good. Mary, there you go. You got to love it. Peggy Flynn, Wisconsin in the house. Tommy D, hello. All right. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing my sibling. We're a couple years, many years apart, actually. My sister's an incredible lady. She's like, she tells it. She speaks her mind. She tells it like it is, too. There's no sugarcoating with my sister. She's a little bit more laid back, but when she has to let it go, she will let it go. She's in human resources, what she does for a living. She's been in theater. She loves theater. She loves smoking cigars. She loves wine. She's got a great voice. She's a big Elvis fan, big Elvis fan. And we're going to ask her a whole bunch of different questions, a little fun. So without any further ado, I'm proud and honored to have my sister, Tanya Carrara, on the show. Tanya, welcome to Ocean's Pit, honey.
Hey, it's great to be here. My God, you're so natural. I was watching it like it's a real professional show. I'm so impressed.
I've been doing it now since 2020, and I know it's been hard to get you on the show, but I am glad you're on, honey. And what's going on? Are you working from home? Where are you at? What's going on?
I actually took the day off. I'm at home, but I took the day off so I could focus on, the holidays and the show and not have to be like 2 places at once because there's a lot of distractions when you work from home, and I didn't want to do a disservice to the show or to my work, so I took the day off. So.
All right, what do you got planned for New Year's Eve? What do you usually do on New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve to me is like, I don't really like New Year's Eve. I've never really liked it. So when I was younger, of course, you go do all the parties downtown, or you do this, that, and the other.
Sure,
and
sure.
It's not something for me. So if I could, I would just spend it at home, but I've got some friends that do not want me to do that. So I'll just a small little house party in the suburbs, a little dinner with some close friends, right? Just celebrating, and just being together. And I'll be safe. I'll spend the night there, so I don't have to deal with the crazies. But that's it. It's not a big deal for me. It's amateur night for me. But I know you have a great show, so go see the Tony Ocean
I'm working
show
all the time. Yes, I would like. I think I had one New Year's off. We had one New Year's Eve off, and that was because of COVID, or better yet, the flu. Sorry, the flu. So we did have that New Year's Eve off, if I do remember. But Tanya Carrara, it's great that my sister's on the line here, folks. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things, folks. Let's not forget our good friends from Deutz Power Center, servicing the construction and diesel industry in Chicago for the last 100 years. That's Deutz Power Center. My good buddy Sal, check them out. The great company. They will take care of you. Tanya, let's get right to it. Where were you born, hon, for people who don't know?
I was born in Gottlieb Hospital, Melrose Park, Illinois. I am from Elmwood Park, Illinois. Very proud of that. Our mother still lives there. It was a nice little town then, sort of still a nice little town now.
Yeah, absolutely. Our mom is still in Elmwood Park, even though we're trying to get her out of Elmwood Park, trying to get her closer to us. So we're working on that. We'll see what happens. Natalie's watching. Natalie says hello. Tanya, our sister-in-law, Natalie. What Danny Raimondi? What's up? Helen Tenuta, everybody. Tanya Carrara. Tanya, let's start off with some stuff here. You got a great voice. You've always sang. Where does that come from? Do you remember when you were a kid? Where did you? Who, was it? Dad didn't sing, so where was it? Something on your TV or something on radio that you heard that you might influenced you to be a singer in any way?
I always thought mom and dad both sang. It's
Yeah,
not like we grew up with them singing opera around the house or anything like
no.
that. So
But
I
Dad
don't
would
know,
sing.
but
Dad would sing sometimes. Dad would sing sometimes. I do remember.
I
So,
I don't remember a time when, I wasn't singing or you weren't singing. To
right.
me, it was very normal to have that, right? And then, in school, like back in the day, it was really easy to like sing in choir, sing this, sing that. So to me, it was just like, there's nothing different or crazy or special about this, right? Doesn't everybody do it? So.
Tanya, when you were growing up, was it hard for you to learn both languages? And then because a lot of parents when they were growing up, they didn't want the kids to learn. They want them to all to speak English. Was it ever? Did Dad ever try to say no? We're just going to teach you English, or was he happy that you were speaking both when you were first growing up? If you can remember.
Honestly, this is the way to do it. I think you teach children at a very, very early age so they don't, it's basically the same thing, right? So with mom, I spoke Italian. With dad, I spoke English. I never really knew the difference, although not knowing it at the time, being older, I remember it was harder for me in school. I was slower in school, and it wasn't because I was just slow, or it's just like because I was still processing two languages. And
Yeah,
then when I was like maybe 5, like we would go to Italy like for like months at a time, right? So I would come back
yeah,
and I had forgotten the entire English language, right? So I had to go back to
yeah.
school, and they always want to put me like in the reject classrooms or VD classrooms, like what's going on here, right? But then after a while, when you get back into it, then they realize, oh, you're learning two languages, which really wasn't the norm back then, right? It was either one or the
No,
other, and now it's a very different scenario. Although I do advocate that if you're going to learn a language, to do it when you're young, because I have tried to learn multiple languages older, and I barely passed like first semester French. I was like, this is crazy. I got to get out of this class. So I went back to Italian and got the easy
yeah.
A's.
Oh, you know what? And I flunked Italian in high school because I just, you know what? The way we were brought
You're
up, and I think,
lazy.
well, it's also because I think being from Tuscany, the northern area of being Toscanos that we are, when we spoke Italian, we spoke it the book way. But I guess that school was teaching it a different dialect. So that's why it was almost like learning a brand new language for me. They were like either speaking like Barese or something else, and I just wasn't picking up on it. And I never went to class, so I'm sure
Well,
that
that was
didn't help.
probably it. That was
That was
probably it.
terrible. So you remember your first artist growing up as a kid? Why Elvis? I know you were a huge fan. Did you see him on TV?
I
How was
promote
it?
no one. Okay, I have this right here. Okay.
Where did the king come from?
So, as crazy as this sounds, do you remember when, you would force me to tape all your television shows and movies because you would go out, and I'm 14 years younger than my brother, right?
You
So
were
I
staying
was his
home.
like
Yes, yes,
basically his lap dog for a long time. And
yes.
he'd basically send all these things I'd have to tape every night. And it was horrible. And God forbid, you couldn't have commercials. So I literally have to pause every commercial and then start it back on. I hated you. But anyway, one thing that you had that you wanted to record is they were showing the Elvis 1968 comeback special. And usually when you would have me tape your stuff, it was all crap. I was like, I hated everything. But this actually was pretty cool. There was this guy in this black leather outfit.
Wait a minute. Which I found very odd because I like Elvis, but I'm not a crazy fan like you are. I don't remember taping that. It had to be for Dad or Mom because it wasn't for me.
It was on the list. And I was
Okay,
like,
all right, there you go. All
finally,
right.
I was like, I like this. And one song was cool, one after the other. And he had such, I mean, even if you don't like Elvis, I don't think you can deny he had such amazing stage presence. Like he ate the lens, and he looked fantastic. And I was like, this guy's pretty cool. So it just started from them. So I blame you. I blame you.
All right, well that's good. All right, looks like I blame for something good. Yeah, because I can see me growing up and listening to that because everybody just like when I was listening to Frank and Dean, and I thought these guys were so cool because the women all wanted to be with them. The guys wanted to act like them and stuff. So it was almost the same thing. Almost like when I seen the Beatles when I was still young, but when I grew up to see the Beatles, I wanted to be the Beatles too, you know. And I guess that's kind of cool. Do you remember, Tanya, the very first song you might have sang in public ever?
Oh God, no.
Or remember the
No.
first song that you might have remembered when you were a kid? Do you remember like the first song? Like I remember the first song I think I sang was like "House of the Rising Sun" with my band when I was like 13 years old from the Animals.
Wow, that's a cool song. That's a
Yeah,
great song.
maybe it was that or something. You remember any song like that?
I could not tell you. I do remember being a big dork though and singing around like the campus, no, like the playground at school. And I would have kids ask me to sing and I would do like these songs or whatnot. Should have charged the money and never did. Okay, that's why you're the
There you go.
professional
You should
singer.
have charged
And
the money.
I have to work at a real job, 9 to 5 or,
Yeah.
8 to 5 every day. But I don't remember, but I like a lot of music. I think you and I both have very eclectic tastes. I actually have to tip my hat to you on that too, because we'd go to record shows, record conventions, right? Come back
Yeah.
with new albums, new music, and usually you'd play them in my room, in the stereo of my room, right? So
Yeah,
hopefully,
I remember.
I like the
That's
new
one thing.
stuff,
Yeah.
right?
I remember you come with me to record shows and we'd go and look through every vinyl box
Mhm.
and see what we can find. And I know you found, and I hey, Tanya, listen to this song, listen to this song. And some you picked up, some you liked, some you didn't. But that's how cool how that started. So you owe music to me too. There you
I
go.
do.
Besides
I
Elvis.
do. That's too
That-
well. Elvis is music,
that's
so I'm
true.
just
That's true.
saying. Okay, it's one.
Tanya, what's it like growing up in the house with us when we were growing up as a kid? What was it kind of like with mom being, and you know, what all I remember is my dad be always working nights. So I didn't see dad too much. You'd come home. We didn't really sit around and have dinner together on Sundays or certain days like that. Like 'cause all the Italian friends that I know, probably you as well. Growing up, they all sat around. They had big families. My mom cooked all this, blah 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 blah. The seven fishes and all this stuff for like Christmas Eve, and I'm going, what? I never heard of that. So, kind of explain what was it like growing
I think it was
up
different
in the
house to
Carrara
Carrara,
household?
right? It's I think there are a lot of stereotypes which are somewhat true, but just think if you're an Italian family, you do have the big Sunday dinners, or you have this. We never had that. I think there was a short period of time where Dad worked days, but I remember him switching to nights, and he was at nights for most of my life, right? From that perspective, so he ate different. In fact, I don't even think that you, mom, and I ever really ate together. I remember eating dinner. I don't want to paint a picture like we were deprived or anything. We were not deprived at all.
No,
But,
no,
I
no, no.
remember eating alone with TV, but mom was in the next room, right? Because she was doing her own thing and you weren't home and dad was working, right? Or,
Yeah.
it was just our thing. So to your point, I don't think I even knew what the seven fishes were until I was in high school and I got invited to like friends' houses. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is cool. What's this, from that. So I learned a lot of those traditions, I think, or those things from friends that became family, right? Other people. And it's not like, again, we had a great father, great mother. It's just we didn't have this typical family Sunday dinner or dinner lifestyle, right? But life still moved on. We were not deprived. It was all good, but I really didn't learn about all those things until I stepped outside the house, grew up a little bit, right? Like, what is this? So
Yeah, I mean, it was to the point where, like, I remember, right? I mean, there was no like even the food that we got. I didn't like eat American food till I was a mid teenager, because I remembered mom making my sandwiches to take to school, and it would be like a chunk of bread, a piece of cheese, a tomato, and one loaf of mortadella. I mean, that was it. I mean, and people would look at you weird when you opened your lunch at the table in front of everybody, or when we had Nutella, which no one ever heard of back then. That chocolate peanut butter stuff. It was horrible. Did you have that kind of when you went to school with the
okay,
mommy?
Mom is a wonderful person. Mom, in my opinion, was never a great cook. Mom at lunch, it was always a surprise. What am I going to find here? First off, she wouldn't put the sandwich in like a Ziploc bag. It would be in tin foil, right?
Yeah.
So you never know what you're going to find in there. Nobody ever wanted to like trade lunch with me. That was an impossibility. I remember one time she put 3 pieces of bread. That's it. There was nothing inside. I was like, what is this? Lunch was always an adventure, and it was just crazy. Again, it didn't until I went to public school when we had like cafeterias you could buy lunch, and I was like, oh my god, what is this? What's going on? Like we think like, oh Tanya, you have great Italian lunches like eggplant and pasta. I'm like, no, that is not what we had. We just had the worst stuff ever. We didn't even know what mayonnaise or mustard was until I think I was like 15.
Yeah, right. It's like
friends.
Yeah, correct. You're absolutely right. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things, folks. Time for a little quick sponsor. Let's not forget our good friends, Roy McCampbell, attorney at law. For all your lawyer needs, give Roy a call at 708-275-4264. Or let's not forget Laura Ocean Solutions, my wife's company, folks. Increasing profits or reducing credit card fees. You'll never have to shop again with Laura Ocean Solutions. And let's not forget Don Esteban Cigars out of Tarpon Springs, Florida. Get those hand-rolled cigars delivered right to your home. Call Javier at 727-366-7536. And last but not least, Trico Hair Experts, recreating great hair days. That's Anthony and Carmela from Rosemont, Illinois. 773-999-7888. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things with my sister Tanya Carrara on as a special guest here. It's a beautiful day. It is Wednesday, the 27th of December, and we're coming toward the end of the year. Just talking about growing up in the Italian neighborhood, folks. Mary Margaret says, I grew up with the close friends whose parents were off the boat from Sicily. Same thing with the sandwiches, all the meat and cheese, no mayo, and a hunk of bread. Absolutely, Mary. And it was very difficult finding stuff like Mexican food I didn't have till I was like a teenager or like early 20s. It was kind of weird. Tanya, let's talk about cigars. Another thing a bad habit you picked up from me. I don't know too many women who smoke cigars. My friend Christine does, and she smokes it on a daily basis. And we're going to see her at my birthday party tomorrow. I'll have to introduce you to her because she smokes cigars like I do daily. You do too. Do you smoke them every day?
Oh gosh, no.
Okay, so you still smoke them, but what was them? How many smoke do you think you smoked in one day?
Probably, like when we go to the Renaissance Fair, that's an easy, depending on the size of the cigar, 2, 3, cigars, easy, from that perspective. But that is not like a routine. That's a special occasion type thing, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're like, on vacation on the beach, what are you going to do if you're not going to drink or smoke a cigar, right?
Why? Why did you get used to the cigar thing? I know you've seen me smoking it, obviously, when you were a kid, but what made you keep the tradition or keep the habit going?
Well, I mean, I like the smell, as crazy as that sounds, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's not just going to whatever and picking up the package of cigars or whatever you call them, stogies like that. I think that there is an art to them. There's certain kind. There's some that are very smooth, creamy, right? Some that Javier's got a real nice selection for female cigars, but there's also a great place in Schaumburg that has like a plethora of really nice cigars. Like there's a new one called an ME. I know it's new to me. It's called the Mexican Experience. It's short. It's tiny. I don't like big fat ones, from that perspective. But again, it's also celebratory, right? You smoke a cigar usually is good news. You're feeling good. You're celebrating something, and I like that celebratory feeling. I mean, there are worse vices out there. And again, I don't do it every day. I just do it when, a special occasion, holidays, but I'll be on the straight and narrow soon enough. So yeah. So
you're watching Ocean's Pit, my sister Tanya Carrara. Tanya, do you know where you got named from? Did you get named from Lawrence Welk's daughter?
Not her daughter. Mom was pregnant watching the Lawrence Welk show, and there was there was a Russian dancer on the show. My name could have been God knows what, but it was Tanya. Yeah. And of course she spelled it Tanya. But Mom, trendsetter, she is Nutella back before it was popular, and Tania versus the YA. And I always hated it growing up because back then you couldn't find anything spelled TANIA, like nothing, right? And then now actually I see a lot more TANIA, and obviously Tanya spelled a variety of different ways now.
Yeah.
But yes, and then she said it was either going to be Tanya or Natasha. And I'm thinking back, I'm kind of liking Tanya more than Natasha. God knows what nicknames could have happened with that.
Got it. And you think about it too. You never, when I was a kid, there was never no Mauricio's anything. I couldn't find anything with that name too. Let's see. I know country music fan. You like old country, new country, and there, you know me. But you were, when you started off, obviously you must have liked old country from some of the stuff that you were listening to when I was growing up too. But why do you think it changed? Do you believe in the new way the country music went, or do you see it?
Well, I listen, all music evolves, right? I mean, and old country now, I mean, when you say old country, what do you mean? Because 1980s is old country. I think you mean even older country, right? So, I mean, there are classic country that's always going to be amazing, right? Like Dolly Parton is incredible. Johnny Cash is incredible, right? If you didn't have some of those influences, you wouldn't have the music that you have today, right? So I think I don't like I don't like people that say they're country because country's hot and they want to be like in, so they'll just say that they're country. I don't like that. I think they're newer, but they tip their hat to country. I'm a big Morgan Wallen fan. He's really good. Lainey Wilson is really, really good, and that she's new, but I think she definitely has ties to those roots. And I think, but if a song is good, a song is going to be good. I think it's easy to have a hit song. It's harder to be relevant and stay current. I think that's the bigger challenge, right? So.
Oh, I believe that too. You are froze right now on the one on your thing went Tanya. Even, but on the screen with me right now, your face is completely frozen. It said lost connection, but they can still hear you from what I'm, and they can see you. I think because you're on the inbox. Something happened with your connection.
Oh, weird, because I can see myself move. I can see everything.
Okay, so let's keep everything. Keep everything. So yeah, country music. Like I said, I wasn't not a big fan of the new shut at all. To me, it all still sounds the same. Tony Deanna watching. Hey, Tony, thank you guys. Everybody's saying that you can see her. You're still good. All right, perfect. Yeah, not into the new stuff. I don't, because you're right. It's not country. It really is not country music anymore, in my opinion. Every guy that's singing out there has the same outfit, the same hat, the same clothes. I used to think the old country music, at least everyone had a different type of voice or different type of sound. And that's what I thought the difference was, in my opinion. But you think it has changed a lot, right, Tanya?
Oh, absolutely. But I think you have to change in order to stay relevant. Nobody stays the same. And I mean, everything is different, right? I mean, but not just country, all music is different. It's very different than it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, but that's how you evolve, right? And some people are going to stay with it. Some people aren't. And that's what makes everything cool about having eclectic style and taste, right? And that helps you change your style, right? And like,
right. No, I got it, but I'm still calling it the same. They calling it country, even though it's really not. It's more like pop rock now, or southern, like Richard Hamlin says, southern pop, with a little because if you took these country songs and you took away the twang of the guitars, it would sound like a regular pop song. So, into plays as a kid. You pursued that a lot. Do you enjoy that more theater type stuff, or do you enjoy singing more in front of a live audience if you had a choice?
I've had a choice. I prefer performing in like musicals. That's my inner passion. I haven't done a show in quite some time. Pre-COVID, I did a little rock band here and there. Which, we were kind of breaking up even before COVID. I don't have a desire to get back into that. I would much prefer to kind of audition, get into some musicals. Can't say that I haven't thought about it. It's hard. Even community theater is cutthroat. I mean, God, there's so many clicks and it's so like crazy. And if you're like a new person in there, like, okay, I guess I can come here every night and move the palm tree to the left, to the right. I don't want to do that either. So maybe that's on me. But
No,
I love being a part of that closeness of a live audience that way and kind of embelling a new character. So I definitely want to say that's at least one more is on the horizon for me before I hang up my little hat. But I definitely would love to do another show again. Absolutely.
something like that. Tanya, my buddy Buddy asked me, "What if you don't have to get into details? But what do you do for a living?"
Yeah. So I'm in human resources.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm in human resources, HR.
Okay, there's her answer. She's in human resources. That's what she does for a living. Great question. Thank you, buddy. All right, I know you're big. You're real big with New York City, just like I am. But it's changed. Going to the city is not the same as it was. I think they said over 180,000 people are leaving the city of New York, the state of New York.
Yeah, I used to
What do you
love
think
New
happened to
York.
that?
I don't. Ever since 2020, I've sort of kind of distanced myself a little bit from New York. It's definitely changed. Even Broadway has changed. I think they've sold out a lot. It's all like remaking movies into musicals. That's not talent. That's just or stunt casting that they do to get people in the audience. And I don't really like that. I think that they're trying to chase the money instead of chasing the art. And a lot of shows that they're bringing in, I wouldn't pay to see them. And last big musical I saw, because it was more of a tribute tour, and it was in Chicago, because Chicago's got great talent too, was the Tina Turner musical, which was wonderful. And it was kind of cool because we saw that, and then 2 weeks later, Tina Turner passed away, sadly. So, but that was cool. The only show I think, and I don't, be a couple years maybe before it gets off the ground, that would get me back to Broadway to see it actually pay at Broadway theater would be if they do the life story of Dolly Parton, which I hear they want to do in the works, and she's going to be behind the scenes writing it, doing it. So I think that would be cool. But the stuff that they're producing and showing now, no thank you. I can stream it on my television for free, and it's the better movie quality. So,
and Tanya, I don't know exactly how many times you've probably seen some sort of version of Wicked. How many times would you say you've seen that which I never understood though, attraction
one
to
of the
that?
greatest musicals ever. I've seen it 23 times. Fortunate to see it in
Wait,
Chicago,
wait, wait,
New
wait. Let me
York,
go back again,
London,
folks. Wait, whoa, 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 whoa,
Boston.
whoa. Go back.
So,
Wait, go back now, folks. You're hearing it here. My sister Tanya seen Wicked 23 times. Now, isn't like 2 or 3 enough? Why 23?
okay, so if those of you have a passion about something, especially if you're a passion about theater, if you really love the storyline, first you go see it because you love the show. And then after a while, then because you know what's going to happen, you can focus on the scenery, you can focus on the set design, you can focus on so many different things that you didn't have the luxury to do that. And I was able to do it. Remember, I had home residence here in Chicago for 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So I was able to take advantage of that. And then each artist kind of brings their own unique style to the character, right? Which is cool. And like, even though it's the same song, they can add octaves to it. They can add vibrato to it that you're like, oh, this is a great version. God, I wish I had this cast recording versus the other one. So to me, it was one of the last revolutionary things in theater, right? Just taking a concept of the Wizard of Oz, which it was a book first, right? So Gregory Maguire wrote the book, which was it's very different, but a very good book. But again, he took a classic, The Wizard of Oz, took a different spin on it. And it's true, like it's a different perspective and it makes people think. And I don't watch The Wizard of Oz in the same way ever again. If you haven't seen it, take your kids. You don't even need kids to go see it. It's just a great show. Although I'm going to tell you this, I am not looking forward to the movie, and I will not go see the movie. I'll wait for it to be streamed.
Well, they seem to change. If people think that the book, the theater, everything kind of changes. My friend Carol says, Tanya, would you ever be interested in producing a musical for kids, number one, or teaching music, such as singing to kids?
Wow, great questions.
Great question, Carol.
I think I would definitely be interested. I'd love to hear more about producing a musical for kids. That would be a lot of fun. Teaching music, I mean, I love singing, and I definitely would have worked with kids. I have directed kids in some shows back in the day, but I am not I don't read music, right? I don't play an instrument, which is a big regret of mine. So I don't know if I would be the best teacher for kids, right? From that
But you'd be interested in maybe producing a musical would be kind of cool for kids, yeah, Carol. That sounds very cool. Very cool. My good friend Carol, how you doing, hon? Hope you had a great Christmas, you and Bobby. All right, guys. Brandolino Music Store on Encore Music in Shorewood, Illinois. Very, very cool. Jason is in the house. Jason, my good friend, Jackson's in the house. Betty, how are you doing? Remember, you seen him on the America's Got Talent when Reba gave him the thumbs up. So he's got an incredible voice. He's going to be joining us tomorrow. Can't wait to see you in your mod. It's going to be great. You're watching Ocean's Pit. My sister Tanya Carrara's on. Let's get to some other stuff real fast, Tanya. Here, late night talk shows. Do you still watch this garbage that's out there? This liberal.
I go to bed really early.
This
I don't
liberal.
watch talk shows. I
Isn't,
don't watch
isn't
talk
it horrible?
shows. Okay, the last great talk show was Johnny Carson. I mean, in my
Well, thank
opinion.
you.
I mean, seriously. Not that I remember watching him, but I definitely remember him on TV, and he was great. And then all the replacements, and everyone's trying to one up each other. And it's really more about, it's not even about the guest on the show. It's about them and their agenda or their message. And, I mean, whatever. Some people love it. Some people don't. And I go to bed. So I'm like, I shut the television off and I'll do something different. So.
Very, very cool. I agree with you. I don't care for that stuff either. Even something called The View has to be the worst show ever to happen. And these are four of the most miserable women in the world. And they're just miserable. And I think for one time, they had someone called Whoopi, they had someone called Joy, and they had someone called Sunny. And they're the most miserable ladies in the world. I can't even invent. I would love to tell you the word that I could use for these women, but I would never use a word like that, being a gentleman that I am. But these women are the worst. They can say whatever the shit they want about anything, and there's like a little slap on the wrist, and that's all. And it seems to be happening a lot on a lot of television talk shows and stuff like that. And it seems like if you're on the right side, supposedly, of what's going on now with this generation or this regime, you can say whatever you want and get away with anything. If you're on the other side, God forbid, you're scolded and barred and blackballed. And isn't that crazy?
Yeah, well, I think they just want to be on the top rating, right? Or they want to be, number one in the news or in the newspaper, and to do that, they've got to, say the popular opinion, right? So,
I guess you got a point on that one. Good one. Keeping it a politically correct answer. Very good, Tanya. I love that. All right, let's get favorite TV show of all time, or what are you watching now?
everyone said the favorite TV show. There's so many great shows because so many different things I like. But what I just started watching, and I am very I'm a late bloomer when it comes to this stuff, right? Even though this was a very popular show back in the day, I never watched it. It's on Netflix right now. I've just started watching 2 episodes in. It's wonderful. It's called Band of Brothers. It's fantastic. Set in World War II, and I heard they're doing there's a one called The Pacific, and I think they want to do another one. So I'm really into that. I just finished watching The Crown, which
Okay.
I liked it. I liked it the earlier seasons more to learn a little bit more about the Queen. The later seasons talked a lot about Diana and Charles and all this kind of stuff, which I wasn't that interested in. But a shameless plug, I will say, just finished 2 seasons. You can stream it on HBO Max, or called Max now, I think. The Gilded Age, fantastic. Absolutely love it. It's really, really good. If those of you who used to watch Dalton Abbey, this is set in the same time frame, but in New York, about new money, old money, some real life characters, some fake characters, but a fantastic show. So that's my shameless plug. So
I got it. And like with me, I think you might look. Growing up, of course, the age is different, but my favorite shows of all time would be The Honeymooners, The Odd Couple, Sanford and Son, Archie Bunker. Archie Bunker was my idol, and my new idol, of course, is the great Larry David from Curb Your Enthusiasm. You gotta love Larry, don't you? I mean, come on, LD for president.
I've never seen the Larry David show, to be
You got to
honest. But
watch Kurt
you
McDougall.
remind me a lot of him just from clips and whatnot, so I can see why you like him so much. But
Yeah, absolutely. Tanya, what about a favorite movie, or what's the latest movie you've seen? The last movie I seen was the one, Sons of
who
Song
is
of Freedom.
killing Song of
Song of
Freedom?
Freedom. Oh my God, it was horrible of a horrible story, a true story, incredible movie, true story. Was there any last movies you seen at the theater?
The last one I saw was I'm gonna screw up the Who is Killing the Flower Moon. I'm screwing it up. It was with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's a true story with Martin
Oh, I've seen that one
Scorsese.
too. Yo, Scorsese. I thought that was, and DiCaprio and De Niro. Great, another horrible true story.
It was a hard movie to watch. It was a true story. The acting was really good. I can't think of her name, but I hope she's nominated for an award. The female star, she was incredible. But that was, and then I saw Oppenheimer, which I was in the theater and I was like, oh my God, it's the most uncomfortable chairs. It was like a 3.5 hour movie, and the chairs didn't recline. And that's probably just how lazy we've become. But I was like, I couldn't wait for the movie to end so I could just move my legs because I was just stuck.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet, but I want to go see that. I want to see that one for sure. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. My sister Tanya Carrara on. We're just asking some great questions. Tanya, animal lover. Are you a cat or dog or either or neither?
So, big question, and I don't want to offend anyone. I guess if I had to choose, I would pick a cat because it's low maintenance. All right, and it's very independent. I like independent people, animals, things. A dog, I think, is a lot of high maintenance. You have to really be, care for the dog. I don't think you should get a dog and put the dog in a kennel, if you're going to not be home enough for vacation. I think you got to think about those things, right? So I guess if I had to choose, it would be a cat. But I'm very footloose, fancy-free lifestyle. I don't need those dependents, so it's okay.
All right, that's an honest question. Tanya, what is your choice of pleasure when it comes out to drinking? Is it either hard liquor, beer, or wine if you had a choice? Or what is your favorite?
So I prefer wine, Cabernet drinker. And then the second would be, and only if they're blue cheese olives, would be a martini. All right. That would be my preference. Not that I haven't had beer, of course, when in Rome, but if I had to choose, I prefer a nice glass of a good wine. So
wine. Okay, Tanya, a couple more questions here. Bucket list of travel. Is there? I know you've been travel. You went all over. Is there a place that you haven't been to that you still want to go to?
Great question, right? Because now everything's opened up, and I've been very fortunate. I've gone to some beautiful, beautiful places. Greece is definitely a gorgeous spot that I'm so fortunate I went to. I went to Australia. I don't know if I would go back because that ride is 18 hours is a long, long time, right? Especially with some, big guy that's always seems to be sitting right in front of you and he always wants to recline his chair. But yeah, right. I've been fortunate. I've been to a lot of great places, and I think now I'm in the process where perhaps I want to revisit some spots. I'd love to go back to London. I want to go back to Italy. You and I think we were fortunate. We went, and I don't think we appreciated when we were younger.
When I was younger, I never appreciated it. Yeah,
right? So now that I think I've traveled a lot and I've been to other places, I think I would like to go back to Italy and just kind of, see it through different eyes from that perspective. So.
Tanya, excuse me, hobbies, golf, swim, fish, books, read. What do you got? I know you read. Yeah,
books. I'm a big reader. I like to read. I like to do some writing too, on the side. Just from that, even though I haven't been performing, I like to go see plays here in the Chicagoland area in the suburbs. There's a lot of great local theaters, which you got to support them. And there's a lot of great talent in Chicago, or Chicagoland, I should say, in the burbs. So I do that. I'm not really into sports. Like, I have played golf. I'm horrible at golf. I mean, I like what golf represents. I like being outdoors. I think I look great in the outfits, right? I like, that out, but I'm a very horrible golfer. You would not want to play with me for sure.
Well, I'm a horrible golfer myself. Tanya, what is your whole take, real quick? March 2020, COVID-19. Everything is shut down for 2 weeks. Shot, no shot, this, that, blah, 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 blah. After all this, now looking back, couple years. What was your whole take on the whole thing?
Yeah, I think that was a really dark time for a lot of people, and I just think it hit a lot of people in different ways, right? I think this is probably an unpopular statement, but I really do believe it. I think 9/11 brought people together, and I think COVID turned people apart, right? And I don't know if that was the intention. It was a very hard time for a lot of people, and everyone can have their own opinion, what they wanted to do. I don't think anyone was right or wrong. I think people need to do what they needed to do for themselves, and hopefully they were able to like keep their family intact and their friends intact, right? And I think you learn a lot about people in those moments, like who is still by your side, who is sticking with you. And I think that's really what matters. I don't blame COVID for things breaking apart. I think it was basically the straw that broke the camel's back. I think there was a lot of tension, and then
Yeah.
COVID came and kind of
Do you
like, all
think
right,
it was? Do you think it was political?
I think there was probably, an agenda for that, but I also think it could have been an excuse, I think also whenever you don't know about something, you just blame politics too, right? From that perspective. So I think we're still grieving from that time. We're getting out of the darkness, but there's a lot of repercussions from it. And I think it's going to take a couple of years to really set things back on track. I don't believe in a new normal. I just believe in like setting things on track.
I got it. I got it. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things. My sister Tanya Carrara. A couple more questions. I know she's a busy lady, but Tanya, what is this whole thing called the Swiftie? What is this whole creation nuts about Taylor Swift? I don't remember. I don't remember. I can't remember the Beatles things because I was too small. I do remember the Bay City Rollers type thing. It was so crazy, but it wasn't like this. I do remember all these people going crazy over something called New Kids on the Block, but I don't think it was like this. Here is a woman right now who's sold more records, music, Spotify, whatever you want to call it, than any other female in music history. To me, I don't, that's what mind boggling to me. She broke Sand, Hart, Benatar,
Elvis.
Stevie Nicks. I mean, let's just keep going on and on and on and on. How has this happened? Tell me why.
So, listen, I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan. I liked her more when she was started out as a country artist. I will say this: she's a smart woman. She writes all her own songs. I think she's smart because she takes her breakups in relationships and she turns them into like multi-million-dollar songs. So good for her. She is a billionaire with a B, So you have to be impressed with that. I think she's smart.
But she's got to be
But
but she's also got to be a loose woman for sleeping with all those men to find out all those songs she had.
why is she loose? What's the difference between her romantic lifestyle and a male rock star's romantic lifestyle? Why does the woman get like the bad rap?
It's
Okay,
a different
so
story.
come on.
It's a man. It's a man. It was it was music. Here's a woman who's catering to younger audiences, and this is how they're brought up. This is just, of course, my opinion. I have a lovely, great daughter, Gianna, who's a big Swiftie. And I try to understand. I want to see. Very talented. I got to give her that. A genius marketing wise. But I mean, to sell more records than any other female in history, that's the part that gets me in the back of my head. I don't understand. Is it just that the younger generation maybe don't get it, or they don't, or is it, will it last? And how long will it last?
Well, okay. Well, think about Madonna. Okay, Madonna was a cultural and still is a cultural
Well,
icon.
Madonna was
You
also,
could disagree with some of her choices and whatnot, but you have to say Madonna has reinvented herself time and time again to be relevant. Great singer, and Taylor Swift's smart. I think she's taken, and someone even said it I think it was Tony Toto that said it in your comments. She has had the right people backing her up since the very beginning. I think that's actually why she started in country. To be perfectly honest, I don't know her full history, but yeah. But
Madonna also had a little edge to her, which made her on both sides. People, so she had a little edge. She took chances. She took that shot, even though it's right or wrong. She went out and did it. Taylor seems to be completely clean, sweet. Bah, bah, bah. If she gets married to Travis or whatever, Travis Twitt, Quick Travis, whatever. Does she change if she ever got married? Her music?
How? I mean, I don't know. I mean, first off, it's not like Swifty and I are best friends. I don't know. Like,
As
how
a
is she
younger
going to change?
generation,
Like,
as
there's
as a
nothing wrong
younger,
with that.
I don't have to have too many younger people on my show. So that's why I'm just trying to get. I'm
I don't
trying to
think I
get.
classify as younger. I am like not.
Well, you
I,
know what I mean.
and
Daryl says I love too much.
probably you should have Gianna on the show to talk
I
about
tried.
the
I
appeal
tried to get
Taylor
my
Swift.
kids on the show. I tried.
I mean, the last song I could tell you that I knew about Taylor Swift is "We Are Never Getting Back Together," which I thought was a great song.
Okay, all right, well, very cool.
But that's
Obviously,
like,
she's
that's a
a genius.
10-year-old song, I think. So.
Obviously, she's a genius. Carol made something good point. Social media capulated a lot of these younger musicians. Her demographics are young girls who are always on social media. Good point there. Dennis, too much of the younger generation doesn't get much these days. Daryl, Professor, how you doing? Boyd always comes up with a good one. Archie's opinion. And thank you very much for that. Oh, Boyd, which always knows how to hit the right number there, buddy. I love it. We got Ocean's Pit, folks. Tanya Carrara's on. A couple things before we bring on. We always do celebrity birthdays. So let's see who's born on December 27th. Jane Fonda celebrates her birthday. Maurice and Robin Gibb, of course, of the famous Bee Gees brothers, are both passed away, but would have been celebrating a birthday. Former Chicago Bear quarterback and Michigan State coach Jim Harbaugh celebrating a birthday. My buddy Gordy, where you out there, buddy? Hope you're doing great. Great guitar man, guitar guy here in Chicago. Great guy, great guitar player, great vocalist with Joe Catafio and J50s. My buddy Keith Grant celebrating a birthday. Eugenia Cassane, my buddy Matt's daughter Eugenia, turns 14 years old. James Gregory, a great character actor from the 70s, played Sergeant Urko on the Planet of the Apes. Al Kaline, for all you Detroit Tigers fans in baseball, celebrating. Ryan Seacrest, another guy I can't stand seeing on television on every TV show, is only 49 years old. God bless. Ned Locke, the original, one of my favorite Mr. Ned on Bozo Circus Show. And from the Eurythmics, Annie Lennox, celebrating, and two more names, celebrating the late, great Jimmy Buffett, if you're into Jimmy Buffett music, celebrating a birthday. But one of my idols' birthdays was yesterday, 2 days ago, and I love him, the great Humphrey Bogart, celebrating a birthday. I love Humphrey because I don't think that guy ever acted. It was just Humphrey being Humphrey. And that's what I loved about him. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things, folks. We only got a couple minutes left. We're keeping Tanya on. Don't forget now, folks, tonight we'll be at the Matrix in Naperville with Jerry Jams, Double T, and Lisa P. Tomorrow night, my big birthday bash. My sister Tanya will be singing there with us, with a lot of other great folks. It's the Fox Run Golf Club in Elk Grove Village off of Plum Grove Road, 7 o'clock. Friday, Chicago Prime Steakhouse in Schaumburg. Saturday, Norton's in Highland Park. And for New Year's Eve, we will be, that show is sold out at the Center for Performing Arts with Ocean's Rat Pack. A lot of good stuff. And folks, like I said, starting in the new year, we have a new co-host with me every Tuesday. Now, we're not going to announce it. We're going to announce her. She is a woman. I did say that. It's not my sister. Just letting you guys know. But you know, my wife is my co-host on Thursday. But we will have a permanent co-host with me every Tuesday starting in January, the week after we get back from the cruise. And we're announcing the co-host's name at my birthday party on the 28th because she will be there at attendance. So we'll be, I know people have been asking, and no, it's not Dr. Biden, and it's not Joy Byhard, and it's not Blowhard, whatever her name is. No, it's not Priscilla Presley. No, folks, you guys have come up with some crazy people that you thought were going to be my co-host, but it's going to be a doozy because she's got a lot of energy, very cool, and bringing a lot to the table on Tuesdays. So you have to wait till the 28th, and you have to come to the show to find out who my new co-host is going to be for the new year. All right, Tanya, if you remember back from 1994 to 2018, there was a show called The Inside the Actors Studio. And I used to watch James Lipton. And you'd always have great artists, and they have students sitting there, and they would talk about movies and talk about their opinions. But at the end of the show, there was always a 10 questions that he would ask, he or she, who was on the show, and they would be cool, simple questions. And we're going to start doing these now with our guests. These are the top 10 questions we're going to ask you before you say goodbye here. To my sister, Tanya Carrara. Tanya, what is your favorite word?
My favorite word. Recess.
What is it?
Recess.
Reaper? Like Reaper McIntyre?
Recess. Like recess. Like,
Oh,
it's
recess. Okay,
recess.
I got it. Okay, recess. No, it's not J Lo. It's not Stella. Okay. What is your least favorite word? Din, 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 din. I'll be back.
No, I can't. Well, it's a, how about a phrase? Abundance of caution is my least favorite phrase. An abundance of caution.
Least favorite. Okay, okay. What turns you on creatively, spiritually? What turns you on?
I guess people with high energy, I like that. It's like I have that, so it's natural. I think that creates, spontaneity. It creates like new ideas. We can bounce ideas off each other. So I like that. I like people that do
Okay. What turns you off?
negativity. Just just because you're in a bad mood, don't bring everybody else down.
Got it. You got a favorite curse word? You can say whatever you want. What's your favorite curse word?
4 letters, ends with K.
You can say fuck.
I'd rather not.
Yeah, okay. That's everybody's favorite. Okay, at least one of your favorite. That's favorite curse word. Okay, we're coming down to a couple more. Let's see. What sound of noise do you love?
Oh, wind chimes. Love hearing wind chimes.
What noise do you hate?
Nails on a chalkboard.
Okay. What profession other than yours would you want to attempt?
I would be an actress on Broadway.
What profession would you not like to do for a living?
What would I not like to do? Oh gosh.
Richard said, I was just about to call human resources.
I wouldn't want to be those telemarketer. I wouldn't want to be a telemarketer.
Telemarketer. And last but not least, if heaven exists, and we know it does, but if it, for people who don't believe it does, if heaven exists, what would you like to have God say when you arrive to the pearly gates to you?
Take your time.
Take your time?
Yeah.
You're already there. Where are you going? Take your time.
It's like, it's like, come on back. Come back when you want. I have an open path.
Come back when you want. You're watching Ocean Spit, little show about big things, of course. My lovely sister, Tanya Carrara, everybody. And it was great to have you on, Tanya. You might as well stay while I do my last commercial here. Let's not forget, I want to thank all our sponsors, but of course, our big one, Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local. Norwich, Des Plaines, Evergreen Park, Warrenville, and the brand new one in Mesa, Arizona. You got to love our good friends from Ace Hardware, folks. And let's not forget to take advantage of their auto key program, and car cut keys at up to 50% less off than the dealership. Visit their helpful hub to speak to a certified team member and download the Ace Rewards app. Easy way to keep track of your points, coupons, and special offers. That's our friends from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local. Remember, Ace has been helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Our good friends from Ace Hardware. Guys, tomorrow, my lovely co-host, of course, Laura Ocean, is back in the house. I want to thank my sister, Tanya Carrara. Tanya, it's always been a pleasure to have conversation with you. I love you as a sister. You are You are something, that's for sure. You just say it
I
like it
love
is.
you
You're
too.
sweet, and I love you too, my dear. And so, guys, uh, remember, buy local, shop local, support local establishments and live entertainment, and the great words of Ringo Starr: peace and love. We need it now more than ever in this crazy world that we're living in. Tanya, thank you so much, honey. Nick Sahajas, the piano man, take us out.
Time to go, it's the end of the show. See you later from Tony O.
Bye bye, everybody. Remember, I'll be back. I'll be back. You guys have a great day. God bless you all. See you tonight at the Matrix. Check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com.